Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back after the break. We are on the show Ask Iman, the late night show where nothing is off limit. And if you have any questions that you would like to get answered on this very show, then please feel free to contact us directly, either speaking to the studio or via WhatsApp message, email, or leaving us comment, or personally giving us inbox or sending us inbox on our social media platform. And inshallah, all the details are at the bottom of your TV screen. And just wanted to clarify, if you do have any person related question, if you do not want to speak or wish to speak live on air, please feel free to utilize either the WhatsApp or the email that we have at the bottom of your TV screen. Now, Sheikh, let's move on to some other questions. How should married couples increase sexual attraction for each other?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A man has to ensure that he beautifies himself for his wife. Likewise, a woman should do that for her husband. What we see, brothers and sisters, is that when we leave our houses, we make ourselves look very attractive. But within our houses, that there is that deficiency when it comes to this attraction. When it comes to wearing good perfume, good clothing, so on and so forth, with the intention to create that attraction. This is very important. This was the practice of many of the Salaf al-Salihin, the pious predecessors. So this is some of the qualities or characteristics that I think are absolutely paramount when it comes to increasing this relationship between a husband and a wife. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair for clarifying the question. Let's moving on to the next question. Also, before I move on to the next question, I'd just like to highlight or a supplementary question to that. You mentioned about when we go outside, we make the effort of making sure that we dress in best clothes that we have, best perfumes we have got. Is it because that's outside world and my husband is my husband or my wife is my wife, so I don't need to wear the best of clothes? Or you would see sometime, or most of the time, in fact, husband and wife, they don't dress the best. So what would your advice be? Dressing best clothes, is it just meant for outside, or is it also meant to be done indoors?
It doesn't mean that you sit at home with a suit on. It doesn't mean that the wedding clothing you would wear to a wedding, you sit with those clothes on at home. What we're saying is, when it comes to wearing clothing or perfume or any other matters that will bring about attraction between a man and a woman, then these steps are necessary at home. Society has molded us in such a way, subconsciously indoctrinated us to believe that when we leave our houses, we are all living a competition of pleasing one another. That everyone is wearing a suit, so I have to wear a suit. Everyone is wearing a designer outfit, I have to wear a designer outfit. So we can't compare the outside world to our homes. We need to make our homes unique, beautiful, and this begins by ensuring that we're doing things to create that love, that compassion, and ultimately that ta'alluq, that connection between a husband and a wife. One point I want to mention here is that when a young couple, they get married, you have to appreciate that during the first hurdle of their marriage, stages of their marriage, they are more attracted to one another. As the years go by, you have to remember that sexual connection, that attraction gradually starts to fade away, and it's not the same when they got married. So you have to understand that. Moreover, what is important is that you are more connected in terms of your personality, in terms of the choice of things you like, and living together, because the things that we think are most important, such as sexual needs, so on and so forth, those are the things that will gradually eradicate, and we will lose attraction when it comes to one another. So we need to hold on to the things that bind us together, connect us together. Wallahu alam.
Jazakallah khair for clarifying it. The next question is, Assalamu alaikum. I have a question that has bothered me for a while. If Islam is the true worldview, why do most people view it as foreign, that is something from the Arab, and prefer to consider other faiths when they consider entering a faith?
I want to mention one thing here. Most people do not see it as foreign. If you look at the number of Muslims globally, the number of Muslims is a huge number across the globe. If you go to different parts of the world, there is not a place where there is not a Muslim. So it is the media often, or we see all of the challenges against Muslims that portray Islam to be a religion of barbarianism, a religion of negativity, and they portray Islam to be a religion of such negativity. However, in the midst of all of that, Islam is a religion that is on the rise. And if you look at some of the figures, you'll come to know, especially living in this society, this plural society, where we are perhaps 5% of the overall population. The population in UK is exceeding more than 60 million, and we are a minority. But if you go back a few years and you look at the numbers and you look at the current numbers now, you see the rapid increase. There are those who use their mind and intellect to think about what is right and what is wrong. They're not reliant upon the information that is given to them, the negative information about Islam. No doubt, as Muslims, we wholeheartedly, ala ra'si wal ayn, wholeheartedly we believe Islam is the religion of truth. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the only individual in the society where there was immorality and indecency. People were swimming in ignorance. The vast majority of the people were against him, to the point his own family members. That didn't mean that he wasn't upon the truth. He began his propagation. He began conveying the message of Tawheed. And what happened? Today we see Islam every part of the world. It's not about the numbers, it is about the message that there is only one creator worthy of worship. And the best of role model is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Thank you ever so much for clarifying that. But also another thing that gets very much connected to this question is, yes, alhamdulillah, people are entering the faith regardless of whatever it's out there on the media, whether it be the broadcast or the newspaper, or however the critics of Islam try and malign Islam as a religion. But also there's a concerning and very alarming statistics for Muslims as well, leaving the faith while they are born in a Muslim society, a Muslim country and a Muslim environment, and that's also increasing rapidly. What's your take on that?
The issue with people who had faith and they are leaving their faith is because often that they haven't understood that very faith that they were following. They haven't really practiced or lived that very faith. Maybe they grew up in a household where by name they were Muslim, or their grandparents or fathers migrated, came from parts of the world where the vast majority of population were Muslim, but in their day-to-day action, in their behavior, in their speech, there was no Islam. This could be one reason. The other reason is that living in this society where at the same time we see Islam rising, atheism is on the rise as well, people abandoning religion, it has become a new trend to follow something else other than Islam. So the youngsters, they fall into the trap of all of this often, to the point that they don't want rules and regulations imposed upon them. As a Muslim, those of us who enjoy worshipping Allah, we enjoy following the Sunnah of Rasulullah, we don't see as a difficulty. But there are those that are often walking around with this feeling or idea that I want to be free, I don't want to be conditioned, I don't want to be a person subject to rules and regulations. And this is why often, and society teaches us that we are free and we don't want these rules and regulations, and this is why we find people taking that route that they shouldn't be taking.
And also we see in the society that you've mentioned that, for instance, it's my life, I can do whatever I want, it's my body, I can do to it whatever I want. Is that how we should approach?
A person who says this, often the reason is there is the absence of understanding who created you. Because you don't have that relationship with the one who gave you life, often you fall into those thoughts and those ideas run through your head, leading you eventually to becoming agnostic or atheist, so on and so forth. Or if you was a Muslim, then abandoning your religion. And this is why we say to our youngsters, come back to your deen, study about Allah. And this is why the scholars, they would encourage especially the Ummah to read books on Tawheed, especially the oneness of Allah. Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, many of the scholars, Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahumullah ta'ala jami'an, they wrote amazing books on Tawheed, the oneness of Allah. The more you study the oneness of Allah before any other discipline, you will find the true understanding of why you exist, why you worship Allah, what is your purpose, where are you heading to, and what are the challenges you will face as a Muslim.
Jazakallah khair for clarifying that.
Barakallahu
Next question. My father is a cigarette addict. Whenever I take away some of his packets out of love, without his knowledge, I feel very bad. Please help. Please help me with some advice as how can I help him?
As a child, any child would be concerned for their well-being and their welfare of their parent, and you have done something good. However, I would advise personally that you apply a bit more wisdom than actually physically taking that away from your father. Your father can become very perturbed very quickly, especially if a person is addicted to a substance and you take that very personal asset belonging away from them, then it can cause misunderstanding between two people. Imam Ghazali rahimahullah ta'ala was asked regarding a man who doesn't pray salah. He said, "Ma hukum tarik as-salah?" What is the ruling regarding a man who intentionally abandons salah? Imam Ghazali, not only from his knowledge, but rather from his wisdom, because that is two different things. Wisdom comes with age and more understanding and maturity. He says, "Hukmuhu an ta'khudahu ma'ak ila al-masjid." The ruling is, don't tell him or her they are a kafir, but hold their hand and take them to the house of Allah. Look at his wisdom. And then he says, "Kun da'iyan laysa qadiyan." Be a caller towards the religion. Don't become the judge, jury, and the executioner. Yes, I understand, young brother or sister, it's important you give the da'wah, but explain to them how this is very harmful for them and that the Quran, the Sharia prohibits it. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. It's now again time for a break, inshallah. We'll be right back after a few moments. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.